I'm gonna break it to you. Not all events are created equal. Most are forgettable, but some are transformative. And the difference is a host that creates a universe, not an event. Successful events pull you into this immersive experience, this alternate reality. I learned this through hosting over 650 people over the last 2 years at a dinner party and failing plenty along the way. When I started, I had no blueprint, no step-by-step guide, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was all trial by fire. Outside of my divine revelation in the bathtub, where I had visions of what the event would look like, I walked into hosting dynamic dinners completely blind. But over the course of 2 years, I learned what it means to create an experience that transports people, and I want to share some of those tips today with you so your first event can be better than my 10th. These tips apply if you're hosting a reoccurring event or a one-off event, if you're hosting an event for 10 people or 10,000 people, and across socioeconomic backgrounds. Because no matter the industry, cacao ceremony or corporate summit, basic human behavior doesn't change. What you can expect through this video is I'm gonna start with pre-event tips, I'm gonna go into during event tips, what to do during the actual experience, and post-event tips. Silo number 1. Before the event. Let's lay the foundation for your experience. The first tip I'll give you here is create an intention that is exclusive and clear. Yes, exclusive. Let me give you an example. Say you're creating an event that's around fitness and your intention so far is we're gonna go for a run. That's bad. That's terrible. What does that actually mean? Are you gonna go for 100-meter sprints? Are you gonna go for a marathon? Are you trying to run up Mount Kilimanjaro as fast as humanly possible? What are you actually doing? And the point here is to distill your intention all the way down to get to a place where you understand what you're offering and what you're offering really excites you. Each of those running activities are vastly different and they would have a vastly different experience as an attendee showing up. So the more that you can create a clear and exclusive intention, the happier your attendees will be. Let's take actually a run club here in Denver, for example. It's called Full Circle. My homies over there, they have an intention of making health social. It's short, it's concise, but it's clear. Their run club isn't about running as fast as you can. There's walking opportunities, and that's what they've gotten. They've gotten a social first fitness club. 2 little caveats I'll put here too is understand that you're hosting this thing, like this is your baby, whether it's a one-off or it's a reoccurring event. So the more that you can get to the juice of why you actually want to host it, the happier your attendees will be and the happier you will be, the more aligned you'll feel with the experience. Now, if this is a recurring experience, this is my second thing, is don't put all of the pressure on the intention. Like if you feel like you haven't quite landed on it fully, host the event and see. Allow the creation to show you a little bit of what it wants to be and what you want it to be as it unfolds. The second pre-event tip is communicate that intention. Be clear in how you're communicating it with the people that you're inviting to the experience. This event comes to mind probably because my name's Ryan. I saw it all over the place, but some group, I don't know where it was, hosted an event that was exclusively for Ryans. It was just a Ryan meetup. And while I was writing this, actually it came to mind and I went to their website and they have a pop-up window that literally says, please certify that you are a Ryan, not a Brian, B-R-I-A-N or B-R-Y-A-N. They're so hyper clear about what their intention is and communicating it to other people, even if it's as ridiculous as we just host events for Ryans. I understand when I get to that website if it's for me or if it's not for me. Be bold about your intention. Don't hide it. Scream that thing from the mountaintops and trust that the people who are looking for the thing that you're offering, the event that you're giving out to the public or to your community or to your workspace, that they will come. Don't make it about the numbers, especially at first. Make it about the experience. Tip 3. That's not 3. Tip 3 for pre-event is filter decisions through the intention. Priya Parker, who's like the queen of gathering, she wrote a book called The Art of Gathering. If you haven't read it and you're like serious about event production, you should read it. She says use your purpose, or we can slide in the word intention here, as your bouncer. What she means is filter all your decisions and all the things that you're putting in place at this event through that intention. If you're bringing in speakers, do they align with the intention? If you're bringing in food, does it align with the intention? If you're like an eco-friendly experience and that's part of your intention, having red Solo cups is out. Filter how you're setting up the event through that intention. From the big, massive decisions, like how are we gonna time block this experience out, to the small decisions like what snacks are we gonna have? Every decision that you make should be filtered through that intention. And on this note, I'll let you in on some secret sauces that you can get away with not doing that. You can get away with not doing that for a long time, but eventually you will feel it, and eventually your attendees will feel it, and there will be misalignment with why they're showing up and what they're experiencing. And either they will leave and not tell you anything, which is the worst because you don't understand what's happening fully, or they will tell you and you can course correct eventually. But handling this as your experience is getting put together is less painful, it's more exciting, and it gives you more of a creative outlet for putting this thing together, which I would assume is part of the reason you're doing it in the first place. Okay, number 2, during the experience, the art of holding space. I know that may be a new term to you, but space holding is the concept or the idea that, well, there's a physical space that we are all in and there is a group and I'm leading it, so I am the one that is holding the space. Again, this doesn't matter if you're leading a cacao ceremony or you're at a corporate summit. It's still the same. We are a group of human beings gathering, coming together with somebody or a team that is leading the group. So you have a space that you're holding. And the first tip I would give in here is set the space well. If you show up on time to your event, you're late for sure. I would even say, depending on the size and depending on the pressure of the experience, you should show up far before anybody tells you or you think you should show up, because you have to physically set the space, you have to get everything ready, and you have to get yourself ready. You have to get the energy of the space and then the energy of yourself ready for the experience. And this is some of the like janitor work of being an event host, because people can feel it. People know when you're ready, when you're set, when your space is set, when the energy feels good. But it's one of those things that goes unsaid and really goes unacknowledged throughout an experience, but everyone can feel. Your guests deserve better than them showing up and you're still running around hastily setting things down and getting the table set and you're like, hey, glad you're here. And that brings me to my second point, which is building a bridge. That moment, that instance when people are walking in and showing up to your experience is so important. And one of my favorite ways to handle this is having some type of portal moment or experience. A door is a really good way to kind of cultivate or create it, because when we walk through doors, we're like walking through this pinhole and opening up physically to this new space. And it's a great moment to bring people in, like I said, create that universe for them to walk into. Greet them with a hug, a handshake, some type of acknowledgement to let them know that they're safe, they're in the right place, you're so glad that they're here, and you get to set the energetic tone of their experience. You get to be the thermostat instead of the thermometer. All right, roll in number 3 while I take a sip of this Topo Chico that's sitting out of screen. Create temporary rules. This is one of my favorite tips. This is something that actually Priya Parker, I'll cite her again, taught me in reading her book that has fundamentally transformed the experiences that I hold and the events that I'll host for the rest of my life. And the idea is that we have etiquette. There's all this etiquette that happens at events. The one that comes to mind for me is at the dinner table, like at a fancy restaurant, there's 14 bowls and 75 pieces of silverware and like 3 napkins, and I don't know where to put them. That's etiquette. Like, which silverware piece do I use for what and when, and how do I tell that I'm done with the plate? Destroy all of that. Like, crush the etiquette at your event and instead create these temporary rules, because what that does is forces you as the host to communicate them. And a side tip here is only have a few. The less the better, I would say, like 2, 3, maybe 4 sweet spot. So create these temporary rules that are really important for you and that again are filtered through the intention of the experience, and then communicate them to the group where they feel like it's a liberation, not a depressant. Is that the right word? Like they're being repressed, maybe repressant. You could say something like this. Hey y'all, the intention of this experience is X, and I've created a few rules of the game just for tonight if you'll play along with me to achieve said intention. An example rule would be, we don't talk about work tonight, because the intention is to create deeper connection within the room, or something like that. At Dynamic Dinner, one of our temporary rules is do it scared, because we really want to create a culture, an experience, a room of vulnerability, and we want to bridge deeper connection through vulnerable shares, and doing it scared brings this essence of courage up for people that creates a reciprocity of vulnerability and openness and ultimately connection. Rules create the sandbox, and without them, the sand just spills out into the grass and nobody can play. If part of your intention is to create more vulnerability and more genuine, deeper, meaningful connection at your experience, one thing that I've used at the dinners that's helped a lot is question cards. I have specific question cards that I've crafted over the 2 years. I'll actually put them down in the description so you can get them directly, but they are a stack of roughly 20 questions that help dig under the surface. And when people have a card, something they can pick up, it allows them to kind of outsource the awkwardness, outsource a little bit of power, but also empower themselves by saying, oh, this is different. Here's a question I want to ask you because it was prompted in the experience, and I'm here to create more meaningful connection as well. And then they ask it. So if you want that, link down in the description. Okay, next. Exchange contacts. When people come to an experience, again, whether it's a summit or a cacao ceremony, I've seen this time and time and time again. A huge thing that hosts miss on, or dinner parties, hosts miss, is that the attendees, the people walk away from that experience with one of the biggest highlights being the people. The people, not just the content. And what you can do to exfoliate that, to give that space, is give time for them to exchange contacts. If you're like me, a part of you is probably like, yeah, but they should just like step into asking other people what they want. True, but as a host, you can either die on that hill or say, man, my purpose here is to also help people connect. So creating even 5 minutes to say, hey, we're gonna take an intentional few minutes for y'all to exchange contacts. I invite you to go up to a few people through the experience that inspired you, or that you want to follow up with and have coffee or go on a walk with or whatever, and ask them for their number. Again, your attendees will appreciate that. And last tip in the during event silo is to create a warm follow-up. Let people know what they can expect from you after the experience. One, it helps kind of cap the night, gives you an opportunity to talk about other things you have going on, or about details or whatever you have for your event specifically. But what it also does is prompts people and kind of readies people to receive your follow-up, and they'll be more likely to read it. I mean, we're all inundated with emails and text messages and Slack pings and Instagram DMs or whatever the communication is, that there is a solid chance that if you send a follow-up, a lot of people won't read it. But if you tell them what they are going to get, then there's a bigger chance that they'll read it. Last silo, post-event. How to follow up without being annoying. This will be super quick. First tip, come through on a follow-up. You said you were gonna send a follow-up out, so send a follow-up. Simple. Second tip, share attendee info. With consent, of course, but again, following up with one of the main reasons people go to experiences, they walk away from experiences saying, hey, that was one of my favorite pieces, is the other people. And if they have the opportunity to follow up or connect on a personal or business level, they'll find a lot of value in it and appreciate you following up, because they might have missed somebody, even though you were intentional about creating time for them to exchange numbers, to exchange contact info. So having a list, which one of the easiest ways to do that is if you collect it all on the front end, whether you're using like a ticketing software, or I don't know how you're doing it. You could use Ticketailor, there's Eventbrite, there's all sorts of different offerings in technology and software, most of which come with a feature of exporting CSV files on the back end, which is like an Excel sheet. So you can just export that, take a screenshot of it, drop it directly in the email that you're sending out as follow-up. And that's all you have to do. Don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be in a pretty Canva design. People just want the info. Again, my heat of caution here is be mindful of your attendees. Understand the dynamics at play. If this makes sense for your event, do it. If it doesn't necessarily, don't. If there are some attendees that want to be left off the list, just leave them off the list. Now, if you've watched the end of this video, you're obviously serious about creating an impactful experience and an impactful event, which means you're a facilitator. And if you want to hone that skill and become a more confident and creative facilitator, I'm putting a course together focused on the skill of facilitation, because it's this mix between leading and being of the experience, an ability to control a room, demand a room's attention while also making the room about the room. It's such a beautiful dance, but it's a serious skill set. So if that's you, if you want to learn how to do that better, sign up down in the description. It'll be rolling out in the next few weeks. And because you're signing up early, there's probably some deals that are coming as well. That's it for this one. I'm Ryan Fila. I'll catch you in the next one. And until then, well, go live life more alive. Peace.